In this video, guys, we're going to look at 7 reasons not to scalp. Stay tuned. Hey traders, welcome to your video request from a viewer and subscriber. 7 reasons not to scalp. I think that's a great idea for a video because scalping it's a good way to trade. I like scalping, but it does have its downfalls. And I don't think if you're a brand new trader, scalping is really the best way to go, especially now when I look at some of the reasons in a moment. And I think many traders have it as a kind of segment of how they trade. I mean, for me, it's a good kind of profit area, if you like, for me, but it's very distinctive and different from other ways that I trade. So yes, I still scalp from time to time when the opportunity is there, and I recognize a very short-term price, stretched or compressing, but I try to elongate my trades because that's where you're really going to get the juice out of the market. Scalping's fine, and okay, if you can hit these little singles from time to time, that's great. But the big winners don't tend to come from scalping. Some of the reasons in a moment that we'll be clear about. And listen, guys, I'm not here to tell you which way to trade. You're your own trader, your own man, your own woman. You can do what you feel is right for you. There are people out there who are doing very well purely scalping. There are people out there who don't go nowhere near scalping. So listen, these are just some of the reasons why you shouldn't scalp. Doesn't mean that you definitely should disregard it completely, but some of the things to consider. So if any of these are kind of warning signs for you, maybe think twice about it. All right, so the first one is the discipline. You've got no room for your slips in discipline, because if you take a trade, it goes against you, you've got to cut it. You haven't got any opportunity to do anything other than cut it. If you're swing trading, or if you're kind of day trading, maybe not so much day trading, but say you're swing trading, if you don't cut it in the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes, hour, 2 hours, even a day, you might get away with it. Whereas scalping, because it's so tight, the edge you've got, if it kind of rips down, you don't cut it quickly, it could just move massively and undo kind of days and days worth of gain. Now, that's always a problem you've got as a scalper. So you've got to be really, really disciplined, guys, because it's such a small time frame. You're going to be trading more size as well, because you've got to be, because of the small moves you're making or you're attempting to get. So you've got to have just solid discipline, absolutely solid. The other thing is very tiring. Sitting in front of a screen all day, focusing on the market moving is tiring. It doesn't seem like it, you're just sitting down, but it's mentally very, very draining. And that's very different perhaps from a day trader who comes in, maybe looks and places some orders and looks is kind of looking for the bigger move and stuff. It's a little bit of a different game. Of course, swing trader who's looking at the end of the day at the chart patterns, etc., completely different. Super tiring, sitting in front of the screen all day long. And don't forget, the other thing I haven't put on here, which is very similar to that, is you're exchanging a lot more time for money. You're exchanging your screen time for money, hopefully. Whereas a swing trader, once you obviously you are still doing your research and adding your trades, etc. But once you're in the trade, you're letting the trade work for you or not, as the case may be. So it's not necessarily so much of an exchange of time for money. So that's one of the downsides, really, to being a scalper as well. And 3 is you're competing on a competitive time frame. These HFTs, less now, they're declining a little bit. Lots more algos and stuff. You can use them to your advantage in some degree. I'm not saying you can just follow what they're doing. Very difficult to spot. But in some circumstances, you can use them to your advantage as a scalper. When they're running one direction, you can kind of fade that, or you see people stepping in on the bid, this kind of stuff. So you can use them, but it is super competitive. So you've got to know when your sweet spots are as a scalper. You can't be there scalping all day long one instrument when it's not really moving much, because you're just not going to be able to make the money you want to. Spreads and commission is a good percentage of your profits. This is the downside. If you haven't got really super tight spreads or super low commissions, don't bother, because you're giving up so much in terms of spread and commission. I mean, if you can work and bid and offer, even better. And I think as scalpers, we would try to kind of work and bid and offer. And if our commissions are low, that means that, you know, one tick up, it's paid for our trade and it's profitable. So you have to really kind of work it like that. But it depends on what your instrument you're trading. Of course, you're trading ES, you know, the book's super thick. You might be sitting there ages waiting to get filled. You're trading a NASDAQ a little bit thinner, so you can get filled on those little spikes. YM, of course, crude oil. It depends what you're trading and how you're trading it. But keep those spreads and commissions low, because it's a real good percentage of your profit. And of course, it adds up to the loss as well. You know, really significant amount there, guys. Number 5, you never have a chance for an outlier move. So as a scalper, you're always grabbing the extension. You're kind of shorting into these stretches. You're in, you're out. You never have a chance to get on something that's going to run and run and run. Now, of course, you could have a hybrid model where you scalp off half and then look to run the rest, something that I quite like to do from time to time. Look for the initial scalp and pulse, which I've read, take some money off the table, and now you're in a good position because you have the opportunity for the outlier trend move or for the extension up to the next level you're looking for, but you're not completely reliant on one or the other. So that's something to be aware of if you're just purely scalping, guys. Number 6 is no room for error in execution. You know, if you're you know, a little bit late, you're chasing things. If the market's popped up and you kind of buying and you're a little bit late and you're buying on the offer, the trade's gone. You know, you've got to be, it's similar to the discipline. You've got to have no room for error. You've got to be iron disciplined with the level you want, the price you want. And the way to kind of look at it, maybe I'll do a kind of complete video on this in the future, is to kind of look at the market and go, right, well, what do I want? Where do I want the price to be? And see where the pulses are going, and then be very strict about, hey, I want it to come down to 10. It needs to be kept at 10. All right, so 15. All right, now we've gone up a level. Okay, now we've gone up to 40. I want it to come back to 15. And you've got this kind of bracketing in your mind, how you're looking to execute the trade. Number 7, easy to go on tilt. So similar with the discipline, it's very easy to get frustrated. I missed that fill, I got stopped out. And before you know it, a couple of hours have gone by and you've got multiple things that are annoying you that can make it easy for you to go on tilt. And going on tilt is kind of just trading out of emotion, out of anger, out of frustration, with no logical thought to the process. You're just clicking away, hoping and praying, and that's deadly, especially as a scalper, because you're not only going to kill yourself in commissions and spreads, but you're going to end up kind of in a scalp that you hold for too long. It's just a really bad. So if you've got any kind of angle where you go in on tilt, or any time where you have a real tendency to move on to tilt, be very careful about scalping. Appreciate the video idea, whoever sent it in. Thank you very much. And take care, guys, whatever you're doing. Keep the risk manager. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.